Good morning, everybody. I just have a few announcements to make. After church today, we have orientation. It will be in the basement for new members. And today and every day that it's weather permitting, we're going to start doing coffee hour outside. I think it'd be good. We should enjoy it. And because of COVID, I think it's a good idea. And please, everybody, start registering when you come in. I noticed everybody didn't register last week. And I need it for contact tracing just in case. We have to be careful, okay?
And also, there's no printed material when you come in the front door. Some people still come in the front door, so it looks like there might have been some kind of...
Okay, I'll take care of that.
If you want registry, you're going to need something out there too.
Okay, I will. This month's Loose Change is going to Meals on Wheels. And next week is the Mission Fair. So all committees, chairman, or appoint somebody to first hour. And if anybody hasn't filled this out yet, time and talent, please fill it out and get it into the, there's a basket in the hall. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the worship service of the First Unitarian Church of Hobart, Indiana. My name is John Halstead, and I serve on the board and the worship committee. We are a religious community of people with diverse beliefs and shared values. Our diverse beliefs are expressed in our 6 sources, and our shared values are expressed in our 7 principles, both of which can be found online at uua.org. Together, we strive to grow spiritually, build community, and live our values in the world. We are currently in search for a full-time minister. When we do not have a minister in the pulpit, we invite members or guests to share a special message with us. This is one such Sunday. We are fortunate to hear from Natalina, a New Mexico-based artist and activist who hails from Northwest Indiana. Natalina will be speaking to us remotely from Taos, New Mexico. We are currently streaming our service online. The Joys and Sorrows portion of our service is, however, private, and we will take a break from streaming during that part of the service. The sermon portion of our service will be recorded and will be made available for future viewing on Facebook, YouTube, and the church website. Due to the increase in COVID cases and the more infectious Delta variant, we ask that all in-person attendees of the Sunday services wear a mask covering both nose and mouth. You can bring a mask or we will provide one. We thank you for your consideration of our community's health and safety. Please silence your cell phones now and take a deep breath and join us in a spirit of reverence as we listen to our prelude. Thank you, Jeremy. Our opening words are by Jill Tarter, A Universe of Possibilities. We live on a fragile island of life in a universe of possibilities. For many millennia, humans have been on a journey to find answers. Answers to questions about naturalism and transcendence, about who we are and why we are, and of course, who else might be out there. Is it really just us? Are we alone in this vast universe of energy and matter and chemistry and physics? Well, if we are, it's an awful waste of space. But what if we're not? What if out there others are asking and answering similar questions? What if they look up at the night sky at the same stars but from the opposite side? Would the discovery of an older cultural civilization out there inspire us to find ways to survive our increasingly uncertain technological adolescence? Might it be the discovery of a distant civilization and our common cosmic origins that finally drives home the message of the bond among all humans? Whether we're born in San Francisco or Sudan or close to the heart of the Milky Way galaxy, we are the products of a billion-year lineage of wandering stardust. We, all of us, are what happens when a primordial mixture of hydrogen and helium evolves for so long that it begins to ask where it came from. Please join me now in lighting our chalice. The words are printed on your laminated handouts in the pews. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of life we share together. Please join me now in our affirmation of faith. The words again are printed on the laminated handouts in the pews. I'm sorry, you know what? I apologize. We're going to do our opening hymn first. It's 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, in the gray hymnals, and we're going to sing it twice. Please stand up as you're willing and able. Please remain standing for our affirmation of faith. The words are printed on the laminated handouts. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please remain standing. We are striving to create a worship service or worship space which is both spiritual and safe. However, we recognize that not everyone can attend in person, so we extend a special welcome to everyone who is joining us virtually today. And thank you to our tech team who's making the live streaming and the recording possible. Due to the increase in COVID cases and the more infectious Delta variant, the Greet Your Neighbor portion of our service will be contactless. Please take a moment to greet your neighbor by waving your hands and letting your smile reach past your mask to your eyes. You may be seated. Our children's story today is You Are Stardust by Ellen Kelsey, and we're going to watch a YouTube video. If you cannot hear this or you have difficulty hearing the volume, please raise your hand and we will adjust it accordingly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ellen Kelsey, and I'm the author of You Are Stardust. You are stardust. You are stardust. Every tiny atom in your body came from a star that exploded long before you were born. You started life as a single cell. So did all other creatures on planet Earth. Like fish deep in the ocean, you called saltwater home. You swam inside the salty sea of your mother's womb. Salt still flows through your veins, your sweat, and your tears. The sea within you is as salty as the ocean. The water swirling in your glass once filled the puddles where dinosaurs drank. From ocean to sky to land and back again, the same water has been quenching thirst for millions of years. You learn to speak the same way baby birds learn to sing, by chatting with your parents. Ma, 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 tweet, tweet, tweet. Be still, listen, like you, the earth breathes. Your breath is alive with the promise of flowers. Each time you blow a kiss to the world, you spread pollen that might grow to be a plant. Inside your brain, electricity stronger than lightning powers your every thought. You sneeze with the force of a tornado. Wind rockets from your nose faster than a cheetah sprints. You grow at night when your bones are resting, just like the sheep you count to help you sleep. You may sprout even taller in the spring and summer, just like the plants in your garden. Your hair falls like autumn leaves. You tend to shed the most hair in early autumn and save your thickest growth for the heart of winter. Your body constantly changes. New cells line your stomach every 3 days. You'll replace your skin 100 times by the time you turn 10. Just as forests grow new trees in place of old ones, you grow entirely new skeletons throughout your life. If you were a planet, you'd be a lot like the Earth. Rainforests on land and algae in the ocean are the Earth's lungs. From your head to your toes, inside and out, billions of teeny microorganisms live on planet U. You know how to be a good friend, and so do other animals. Bats and sperm whales get their friends to babysit. Elephants remain best buddies for life. You, me, birds flying through the rainforest, we are all connected. We are all nature. We are all stardust.
I don't know about you, but the part about wind rocketing from my nose like a cheetah takes new meaning now. So, now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows. We believe that a joy shared is magnified and a sorrow shared is diminished. Your joys and sorrows will not be streamed online, nor will they be made a part of the recording, which is made public. Due to COVID, we will not be passing the microphone, so please speak loudly when you share your joys and concerns. If you cannot hear a speaker, please raise your hand and I will paraphrase into the microphone. In singing our intermediate hymn, Rise as You Are Able, number 30, Over My Head, number 30 in the gray hymnal.
My head
Thank you. You may be seated. Natalina is an artist and activist who grew up in Lake County, Indiana, before moving to New Mexico. Whether designing for a fashion runway or a music festival, the common theme that runs through Natalina's work is a desire to create a more sustainable future. She attended services at UU Hobart about 10 years ago before her move, and has reconnected attending services virtually throughout the pandemic. So I hope you'll welcome Natalina. And can we do a sound check, Natalina, just make sure everybody here can hear you before we get started.
Sure. Hi.
Raise your hand if you, say a little more.
Can you hear me?
All right, I think we're good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I have been tuning in throughout the pandemic, and I've been so grateful for the service you all provide. It's amazing, really, that I'm able to be here with all of you while I'm also here on a mountain in the desert. New Mexico is really different from Northwest Indiana, and it's the things I never gave too much thought to that remind me so much of home, like the sound of the train. My grandma lived right next to the train station in East Chicago, and sometimes that train would come through and it would rattle the dishes, and we would stop the conversation and wait for the train to pass, like here in church with all of you, not here where I am. There's no train here. Sometimes I do hear a train. And sometimes it's really loud, like very loud. And I stop what I'm doing and I look around and I wonder, where am I? Where's that train? There's no trains here. We do have a legend, the legend of the Taos hum. And no one really knows where it comes from, but some people say it might be a secret underground train. What I'm hearing is probably someone with a novelty horn, and I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for what I'm hearing. I've been in it for the long haul. I'll bite my tongue just to find another year on the line. With you on the line, with you, what's in it for you? You know my dreams, you know my fright. Do you know I pray to the stars every night for you? I'm funny, I think we are light years apart. And I'm stuck here on this mountain, and you're a moment's train away. Still I can't go anywhere without road. Can't explain it, I need you more than my mind. And I'm crying, but creature, I'm alright. Hey, listen, I'll be alright. I'm just stuck here on this mountain, and you're a moment's train away. Still I can't go without road. here on this mountain, and you're a moment's straying away. Still, I can't go anywhere without road. That song's called Where's That Train? When I first got here, when I arrived in New Mexico, I was delighted by the cow crossing signs. Let me show you.
You need to go out.
So one day I mentioned it to someone. I said, I just think it's so special that the road department put that little sombrero on the cow, like, welcome to New Mexico. And the person laughed and said, those are spaceships. So that led to more questions. Let me show you again. I've been at home all throughout the pandemic, and I spent the time writing and asking questions. I would ask a question and do a little research, and the answer would lead to more questions, and I would look them up and wonder about more things. Eventually, I started reading books instead of search results, and at some point, my questions became bigger and sounded something like, why are there billionaires, and why are they going to space? I had a lot of time on my hands. So here we go. I found out about this object that entered our solar system and left in October of 2017. It was the first interstellar object ever discovered in our solar system. It was detected in Hawaii, and they named it Oumuamua, or messenger who comes from very far away. Astronomers across the globe focused their telescopes on it and recorded as much data as they could in the 11 days before it left our solar system, and then they analyzed the data, which turned out pretty weird. It was 5 to 10 times longer than it was wide, so about the length of a football field with a width of less than 10 yards. It had a more extreme shape than any comet or asteroid ever found before. It was 10 times shinier than any asteroid or comet ever before recorded, shiny like metal. Oumuamua sped part of the way around the sun, and then it accelerated as it passed by the sun. And as it passed by the sun, its trajectory deviated from what was expected based on the sun's gravitational force alone. The universal laws of physics allow us to predict with certainty how an object will travel around the sun, but this object sped around the sun at almost 200,000 miles per hour, and then it kicked off in a different direction. Astronomers didn't know what this object was, and they've mostly settled on strange comet. They didn't know what it was made of or where it came from for certain. They knew what it wasn't, though. It wasn't aliens. And anyone who entertains the thought of an engineered object entering our solar system and then leaving it apparently must be loony, regardless of their position or awards or previous credibility. Credible astronomers do not ask questions publicly about aliens. They say, if you want to know the answers, say, if you want to know about us, all you have to do is ask. All you have to do. So I'm asking if the cows are really safe again. Can someone please explain this yellow warning sign? It's displayed throughout my county, and I can't find a postcard of it. Tell me why. I'm asking if the cows are really safe again. What's with this yellow warning sign? Avi Loeb had been the longest-serving chair of Harvard's astronomy department, and he published a book this year about Oumuamua. His hypothesis put him at odds with the scientific community because he suggested that the object might have been engineered. Perhaps it was a light sail, like a wind sail on a sailboat, but using solar power. This might explain the solar boost and the deviation. He explained or suggested it might be space trash, a broken piece of a ship, or some answer we would never find with the questions we were asking. For many years, the US government denied their own tests and aircraft, leaving people to believe they were seeing otherworldly phenomena. When they reported these sightings, they were made out to be crazy, and that cut down on further reports. Last month, after all this time, the Pentagon released a report saying something like, there are things out there in the sky, and we don't know what they are. We've been studying them, but they're not ours, and, well, there might be a perfectly reasonable explanation for it. Planes and trains, UFOs, those clouds look shifty. We all know it. We can't stop them on our own, but I'm still trying. Hey, would you wanna know if there was no one to show ya? Are we alone in the stars? I've been looking way, way up high, and I see lights up there, lights up in the sky, and they are moving without flashing space cars. Hey, I wanna know, would you wanna know if there was no one to show ya? Are we alone in the stars? Who's driving those cars? And what does it mean to be human? Please tell me. 'Cause I wanna know. Would you wanna know if there was no one to show ya? Are we alone in the stars? Planes and trains, UFOs, those clouds look shifty. We all know it. is it perfectly reasonable to call Oumuamua comet when the odds of a naturally occurring object of this shape invisibly off-gassing and smoothly accelerating are, according to Dr. Loeb, about the same odds as nature creating a space shuttle? Would any of us consider that perfectly reasonable? If you came by to visit me and I showed you a space shuttle in my backyard by the rocks with the petroglyphs, and I told you it was a naturally occurring craft, rocks just look different in New Mexico. Would you believe me? So personally, I've never seen an alien that I was aware of, and I had a particularly, I'm not particularly well-versed in science fiction, and I had a sheltered childhood. I went to the Catholic school in Lowell. I was told there that I asked too many questions. Originally, when I was writing out my thoughts for this talk, I wrote the title as "Are We Alone in the Stars?" and other questions we are allowed to ask at church. I love that a variety of questions are entertained here. In the early 90s, when I was in elementary school, we knew of exactly 9 planets, and Pluto was one of them. By 1995, we started discovering exoplanets, planets outside of our solar system, of which there are now over 4,000 recorded and tens of thousands discovered, just waiting in line for confirmation. Is it perfectly reasonable to assume that we are the most advanced beings in the universe? Evidence suggests we're not even the most advanced beings to inhabit this planet. The Mayans, the ancient Greeks, they were tracking the movement of the stars, and indigenous cultures and folk singers knew we were made of stardust before scientific confirmation. I do wonder if questions about aliens and billionaires might encourage us to question more about the state of our lives and the state of this planet. Before the pandemic, a report came out about the state of our climate and world that warned of dire consequences within 50 years if immediate and drastic measures were not employed. That report was updated this month to 20 years. 20 years before we reach the 1.5 degrees of warming that in the 90s was a theory, a worst case scenario. When the pandemic took over, we stopped talking about the climate report, but we did do exactly the types of things that were necessary to curb emissions. Factories temporarily shut down, we stopped traveling, and planes stopped flying. All of this was only for a short time, but it was measurable, and it's clear that if we took action today, like we did last year, but for the climate, we could save our grandchildren's world. We're stardust, billion-year-old carbon. And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Joni Mitchell. It's a big task, and it seems like the governments with the ability to do something falter, and the individuals with more resources and small nations are taking joyrides to space. And the time is now. They'll write legends about us when all of this is over, if there's anyone left to write them. There's magic available to us here. We get glimpses from time to time, but unless we tune in, more is hidden. I think there must be a perfectly reasonable explanation for our bodies being made of star stuff. Maybe it's something like just add water and grow a human kit, like sea monkeys. There are so many questions to be asked, like what's at the center of the earth? or the center of that mountain over there? What's at the bottom of the ocean? I'll close with a piece by Doris Lessing and a song about quantum entanglement and leave you with more questions. Thank you for inviting me and for joining me on this strange journey. For no one knows what lies under the sands of the great deserts. No one knows how many times the earth has reeled under blows from comets, has lost or captured moons, has changed its air, its very nature. No one knows what has existed and has vanished beyond recovery. Evidence for the number of times we have understood and forgotten again that our minds, flesh, and life and movements are made of star stuff, and that the sun's being and ours and what sorts of events may be expected because of the meshing of the planets, and how an intelligent stewardship of humanity's resources may be affected based on the most sensitive and skilled of forecasting by those whose minds are instruments to record the celestial dance. This planet away spins so fast. Round and round and round this planet away spins so fast. The answer's hidden. Time goes by. Time goes by. Won't go back. Round and round and round this planet away spins so fast. And I know that I don't have to use the phone. Our photons are entangled, shining light through the unknown. My life is fine. Still I like to hear your voice from time to time. Round and round and round this planet away spins so fast. Round and round and round, keep running while you chase those clouds. I'm terrified you'll disappear. I'm terrified you'll leave me here. And I know that I don't have to use the phone. Our photons are entangled, shining light through the unknown. My life is fine. Still I like to hear your voice from time to time. My life is fine.
Still, I like to hear your voice from time to time.
Thank you, Natalina, for your thoughtful words and your beautiful music. I am also grateful that this is a space that cherishes questioning and questions. Now is the time in our service for our offering. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space, and we give with the faith that together we have enough. There is an online link on the screen for both one-time and regular donations. You can also contribute in person by putting money and paper money and loose change in baskets and cups, which we will pass around. The money in the baskets goes to the regular operation of the church, and the money in the cups goes to our Faith and Action Committee and a different charity every month. This month's charity is Meals on Wheels. Please try not to touch the baskets and cups as our ushers bring them to you. Can I get just two volunteers to pass the baskets and cups? For your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts, we are truly grateful. Rise and join us now in singing our closing hymn, number 123, in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life, 123. Our closing words are by Chris Jimerson. Who am I not to be blessed? In the moonlit shadows, at the edge of night-darkened oak trees, I see it. Across sunny pathways in the buzzing of insects, amongst flowering forest greenery, I hear it. From the touch of ones loved, the embraces of those gone before me, I feel it. In the poems I love dearly, the songs that speak to my heart, the sculpture that captures my imagination, the discoveries still to be made, I sense it. It is the fire of distant suns, the cool drip of waters, the slight chill of the breeze, the laughter of children, no matter what their age, old and young, grown and still small. It is the breath of life, the stardust of souls, the magic of remembrance. Who am I not to surrender to it in gratitude? Who am I not to be blessed? Please join me now in extinguishing our chalice. The words are printed on the laminated handouts in the pews. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for attending First Unitarian Church of Hobart. Please join us now for our in-person coffee hour in the garden. And if you are attending online, we invite you to carry on your own virtual coffee hour with the others online. Thank you very much.